Well, on here. When so many when so much Republican behavior these days is too gross to be funny, there's something downright refreshing about old-fashioned Christian right hypocrisy. Because when it comes to the Christian religion, they're nothing but a bunch of fucking hypocrites. Now this time it comes from Representative Lauren Bobich of Colorado, or as I like to call her, Bobo. Like Bobo the clown. Who's a biological human being who nonetheless sounds exactly like ChatGPT, channeling a Breitbart comment section, even though Breitbart's another fake news site. Now, Bobich built her career on sanctimonious, though often incoherent, lectures on the supposed threats to the family of sexual depravities in the Democratic in the Democratic side, basically like same-sex marriage or contraception use. She also filed for divorce last month. In fact, it only got into the press this week. And I don't know why anybody would fucking care, because she's a fucking moron. But this follows other comical examples of Bobart's family values, such as celebrating teen pregnancy or standing by her now, soon-to-be ex-husband after he exposed himself to teen girls in a bowling alley. And because he did that, he should be on the sex offender registry list, but he's not. Now, her choice to leave Jason Boebert might be the first sign that there's functioning brain activity in her skull, and I doubt that there is. As the bowling alley story suggests, the guy is a fucking creep. He started dating Lauren, which her name before she got married was Lauren Roberts. And when they started dating, she was 16 and he was 22, which should be in the pedophile registry list. She dropped out of high school after she gave birth to her first child at 18. And then they got married 2 years later, and during this time he was arrested on domestic violence charges after a fight with her. And in August he was still at it, getting the cops called on him for reportedly threatening neighbors. His behavior when she finally served him up with the divorce papers is reportedly more of the same, as we've heard. As the Daily Beast reports, he chased away a process server with an expletive-laden tirade, and he let the dogs loose when he was served with the divorce papers. Now, Jason Boebert denies the process server's description, including the mention of alcohol consumption. He did tell the Daily Beast that divorce is sad, but in the statement, the congresswoman defended Jason Boebert. Basically, basically the divorce is a private matter, but the misrepresentations must be addressed. And Jason deserves his privacy, and not to be lied on, or basically, as he put it, and not slanderous stories. Now this story is just a tasty gossip, but it's also a window into an aspect of red state life that hasn't been much discussed. One which is likely feeling the ugly surge in misogynist rhetoric and policy being pushed by Republicans, especially the men. Now, the dark little secret of red life is that there's a lot of Lauren Boeberts out there, conservative women who disavow feminism, but when given a shot at more independence for themselves, they gladly use hard-won rights like divorce and abortion. But Republican men are getting increasingly angry about even this minor loss of control over the women, and the results are going to be fucking ugly. A sexual predator is the front runner for the Republican nomination. Abortion bans keep getting passed, despite them not being popular at all. And now there's even a GOP push to make it harder for people, mostly women, to file for divorce. And as well as we know, the average age of a woman on her wedding day has been creeping up for about decades, from about age 20 in 1950 to nearly 29 years old in 2022. And this trend is more pronounced in blue states, but only a small amount. Even if the reddest states like Alabama and Mississippi, women are on average over 25 when they tie the knot. And the age that women give birth for the first time has also risen to about the age of 30. And again, it's a little higher in blue states, but not by much. Now, all of this is because American women, whether they live in Democratic states or conservative communities, they have decided it's best to have a strong measure of personal independence first. Now, women now outnumber men in the college-educated labor force. Two-thirds of mothers are the breadwinners or the co-breadwinners for their family, with 41% of the mothers being the primary or sole breadwinner. Now, nearly a quarter of children live in a single-parent household, and most of those are single mothers. As anyone who is connected to conservative communities could tell you, conservative women may denounce feminism, but they still feel it's important to be self-sufficient. And the story that they tell themselves is that it's not political but pragmatic. Finding a good man is hard. It's safer and smarter to be able to take care of yourself and keep your opinions open. Now, life without men is often, frankly, easier. Statistics even show that single mothers have more time than married mothers. Now, women of all political stripes will take their shot when they get a chance to escape any bad marriage that they might be in. Now, Bobert isn't even the only Bobich isn't even the only anti-feminist loudmouth in the House GOP caucus who blew up her marriage once she got elected and got more interesting options. Back in April 2022, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia trolled feminists by declaring women are the weaker sex made from Adam's rib to serve as her husband's wife. But of course, she's not talking about herself. She appears to have left her husband shortly after getting elected, and official divorce papers and her official divorce proceedings started back in September. Now, unsurprisingly, male leaders of the GOP do not view it as merely in a political expression of independence when conservative women make use of the hard-won women's rights, but instead they're reacting like Jason Wilbert flipping his lid on a process server handing him divorce papers, i.e., they're not happy about it. Now, the most obvious manifestation of this misogynist tantrum is in the overturn of Roe v. Wade and the subsequent explosion of abortion bans being passed by Republican-controlled legislators. Now, these bans on abortion are highly unpopular, especially with Democrats. In red states, voters have repeatedly rejected abortion bans, only to have male-dominated GOP legislators force them on the population anyway, even by blocking the rights of voters to weigh in directly. Now, in many cases, the female Republican leaders seem downright stunned at how extremist their male counterparts are on this issue. Now, in South Carolina, for instance, if female Republicans in the Senate joined with Democrats to block an abortion ban, and often acting as if it just occurred to them that all this anti-abortion talk from the party was serious. It's not just abortion, however. As Tessa Stewart at Rolling Stone reported, Republicans across the country are now reconsidering a no-fault divorce, even though it's been legal in most states for decades. The state Republican parties are adding the repeal of the no-fault divorce to their party platform, and even the National Party looked at the issue back in 2016, and they probably would have taken it more seriously if their candidate Donald Trump, who has been married 3 times. The reason isn't mysterious. 70% of divorces in the U.S. are initiated by the women. As journalist Liz Lenz writes in her newsletter, maybe 70% of the women file for divorce because having a husband adds 7 extra hours of housework and work that a wife is expected to do. And maybe it's because women, despite also having full-time jobs, still do the majority of childcare and housework. And a lot of women are fucking sick of it, even fucking women who claim to disagree with feminism. But it's also no surprise that the men are going to let all that free labor get away from them so easily, and they're now a lot of the culture war issues that wind up the Republicans are, to them, it's mostly abstractions. Drag shows they don't go to, woke pop culture that they don't consume, and books about racism because, Republicans don't read. Cosmopolitan lifestyles in big cities that they never even visit. But when it comes to gender and power, the struggle is keenly felt even in Republican households. Now, the right-leaning women may talk trash about feminism, but as the Republican men often learn the hard way, even conservative women have their limits on how much crap they'll take from them. And this is about keeping power over their own wives and daughters and not just controlling some strange woman who lives far away. Now, Bobo and Trader Green may insist that their divorces are merely personal, but as any feminist can tell you, the personal is political. So if you like the video, you can give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, RBW King. You can also You can also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video comes out. And if you want to support my work even further, you can donate to my Patreon link, which you can find in the About section of YouTube. And for just a little dose of $3 a video or a month, your donation can help go a long way. And thanks for listening.